Hello, my loves. Hello, good morning. It is Friday morning here on the East Coast. So, wherever you are, might be good afternoon, might be good evening. I'm going to go ahead and share this while we wait for some people to hop on into my group. So, if you're hopping on, let me actually move this over to comments. If you're catching the replay, hashtag it replay. If you're hopping on, let me know where you're watching from, how you're feeling this morning. I'll tell you the energy the day before the eclipse and the day after the eclipse was intense. And we had so much activity in the Schumann yesterday, and I didn't talk about it because I didn't feel called to, but how did you guys feel yesterday? Let me just share this into my group. There we go. Hi, Corey. Hi, Vanessa. Yesterday was a tough day for me. Just going to be real about it. Yesterday was a tough day for me. We had a lot, the energy was pretty high with the Schumann. We had a lot of anger and new awarenesses, and we had a lot of things just coming up. Good morning, Jessica. We had a lot of things coming up. And so if you haven't experienced that yet, maybe you won't. Good morning, Celine. Maybe you won't experience it. And maybe you will in your own way. So I would love to know how you guys are feeling and experiencing it. Even though it was a tough day, it was a super transformational day for me. I just kind of really went inward and shut down. And I had a client that canceled yesterday, which was perfect. Everything just worked out. Everything's always working out, you guys. Everything's always working out for you. Even when we don't think it's not working out, when we're like, it's not working out for us, it's not working out, it's totally working out for you. It's always working out for you. Cloudy and moody. Yeah, it was kind of like that. And Mercury is about to go into retrograde, which I don't always see Mercury in retrograde as a bad thing. It really affects communication and technology. But the tricky thing with this one, and I talked about this a little bit in my disclosure video, is that what people aren't really talking about, and some of them are, there are some astrologers that are talking about this, but Mercury is going to be in a conjunction with Neptune. And for those of you who don't understand Neptune is the woo-woo, the mysticism, right? There's a reason why I'm called the woo-woo queen. I'm ruled by Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. That's my ruling planet. And so if you're not used to, when the energies are strong in Neptune, I am very deep. As you guys saw the other day, right? We had some freaking deep conversation. We went deep into some quantum theory and really out there understandings, right? So that's what happens to me. I go to the bottom of my wisdom well, and just the most amazing things can come out of me. And this is where I'm going to be most of the summer. But if you don't have a lot of Neptune in your chart, right? A lot of Pisces in your chart, or if you're not born in a Mercury retrograde, these two being in combination are going to make for a hi, Megan, you're going to have a very confusing summer, because Mercury rules communication and Neptune is the dreamer. It's the woo-woo. It's the mysticism. So it can be very, you can feel very confused, very detached. You can feel like very out there. It can be contradictory information. So, and we're going to see that with this disclosure and with a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming out from the government over the summer. There's going to be a lot of weird crap happening this summer, you guys. So stay alert, stay on your toes. But remember, it's all a distraction. It's all an illusion. But this is why it's so important for you guys to learn to trust yourselves and to know yourselves. Because if you don't trust yourself, you're not going to trust any energy that's coming towards you, any energy that's around you. So you're not going to be able to have mediumship, you're not going to have strong mediumship skills. You're not going to read energy well. You're going to be in inner conflict. And we think about inner conflict, right? When we go back to that woo-woo conversation that we had about what it means to be in this human experience, if these are our AI vehicles, right? If these are our vehicles, and they come preloaded like a computer with generational programming and trauma, there's two people fighting. The car wants to take control. The automatic program wants to take control, and the soul is trying to take control. There's your inner conflict. Two people are fighting for the steering wheel of the human body. So this is going to be what's going to be happening over the summer. So Neptune is already squaring, or in conjunction with, I can't remember which one because I'm not an astrologer. They're already connected right now before Mercury even goes retrograde. So if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling cloudy, if you're feeling any of those things, know that there is an astrological aspect to it. Okay. And it's a call for you to become super, super present and really start practicing so that you can master trusting yourself and being able to discern energy and make a decision that's in the highest and best for your evolution, right? Not for somebody else's. So you guys can start dropping questions in the comments, what you guys want to talk about today. And we can dive into some topics. Just wanted to kind of start off with my morning spew of whatever was happening in my world. Let me put my glasses on so I'm not like this on the camera. Salim said, good morning, Jenny. Salim says, I went to sleep at 7 p.m. and woke up at 7 a.m. I was exhausted. Yeah, a lot of exhaustion. Jessica, mentally exhausted by the end of the day. Was kind of just blah. Thank you for loving my purple. I love my purple too. Oh, thank you for sharing, Megan. I appreciate that. So let me know what you guys want to talk about. What's coming up for, what's something that you want to explore today or want some assistance with today? And we'll see where we take this conversation. Very vivid dreams. Yes. So vivid. I mean, I talked about that a couple of days ago too. I know for me personally, I'm reconciling a lot of stuff in my sleep. I am reconciling a lot. So a lot of the things that I didn't get closure on and I didn't get to grieve or process, I'm processing now during the day, and I'm reconciling in my sleep. So everybody's going through different levels of this type of stuff. Megan says, I've had a surge of energy today and it's been great and intense. Yeah. And that's why I always say intense doesn't mean bad, because sometimes the energy, the intensity is like, this is amazing, right? We ride that wave. Tiffany says, good morning. Yesterday I was so tired. Energy levels were low. And the Schumann was extremely high yesterday. We had 2 major spikes. So remember, the Schumann is, just for those who aren't familiar with it, I'm going to give you my metaphorical kindergarten explanation for you guys. When photonic light is coming in, it's always coming in days before it registers on the Schumann. Always it's coming in days before that. It's usually 24 to 48 hours in that window. There's photonic light coming in. There's always photonic light coming in, but the plasma energy that's been coming in has been really, really intense. So the energy comes in and it's received into Gaia the same way it's received into us. When Gaia releases, right? When she's like, I'm letting go, I'm purging, we see the spike in the Schumann. It's like acid reflux. That's the best way to describe it. It's what's coming back up. But when she releases, it triggers us because we are electromagnetically connected to Gaia, like magnets on our feet. We are a sentient being just as she is. We are a part of her. She is ascending. The physical earth is ascending just as the physical body is ascending. So when she releases, it triggers a release in us. So we get crazy vertigo, we get nauseousness, we get exhaustion, because remember, our bones and our teeth are where we store our dry ingredients. That is the pre-installed programming that comes on this human meat suit that we step into. So it triggers that release. Because remember, ascension is the physical body. The physical body's ascending. It's moving from carbon to crystalline. Yeah, the spikes cause nausea. Nausea, vertigo, exhaustion. You can get cold and flu symptoms. Like the flu is when your body hurts, right? You can feel your pineal gland and your pituitary gland and your brain rewiring, which can cause crazy weird headaches. And usually they're like this. I've also noticed some right shoulder, that's my left, right shoulder issues. So right shoulder pain. I even have skin purging, right? I have acne coming in right here. And that's, I never have acne issues, skin issues. So my skin's purging. So everything has, this is why it's so important to learn how to read your body and read your own energy, because I know what everything means, right? Or I tap into it and learn. But it's just when she purges, we see the spike. And when she's doing some deep internal work, you'll just see those gray lines, right? Or green. It'll just be green. This means there's internal work going on, which means we will get triggered to do internal work. But when they spike, she's releasing, it triggers us to release. Off topic, but I did it last night. I think I figured out my chart: Cancer Sun, Libra, Moon, Taurus rising. So Cancer Sun, if you're a Cancer Sun, that means you're ruled by your moon sign. So that means that you are ruled by Libra. And Taurus is going to be more of your personality. Shelly says intense grief today. Oh man, I'm holding so much space for you, my love. 2 days ago, I woke up with intense grief, like intense grief. Cuddle with yourself. If you have a weighted blanket, use it. Wrap yourself up like a burrito. Watch movies that will allow you to grieve with their story, so you're not in your own story. Let me delete this person. Delete this person. Corey, if you see people asking for readings and I miss it, will you delete them if you can? We're starting to get more weirdos. Not weirdos, but people with agendas. I don't know if I'm going to say Corinda. Is that how you say your name? How would you tie in numerology in your human design chart? I can relate it a bit, but love to hear your perspective on how to combine the two, if you know what I mean. So in my chart, I have 22, which is grace, right? But my line number is also 2. So you're talking human design. I'm talking gene keys. They are gene keys goes deeper into human design, but it would kind of work the same. So that's in my SQ in gene keys. So that means that those 22 is what opens my heart, acceptance, grace. So because it's 222, right? 22.2. Then I know that the number 222 is significant for me, and it always has been. And there's a lot of 22 in my chart, in my human design as well. So I do think that there is a connection. I mean, everything's connected. There's nothing is separate. But it's not that it's just another expression. It's just another symbol for you, in my opinion. And I haven't really done a lot of digging into that, but I think it's just another symbology. It's just another confirmation. And then that number, those numbers that are numerology or synchronistic, I should say, in your in any of your charts, even in your astrology charts, right? Any type of synchronicity where there's that triple number or double number that appears many, many times, that number is going to be a significant number for you. So it'll be something that maybe you witness out in the world that helps you stay in alignment or shows that when you're on the path. But again, numerology is going to be different for everybody. And this is something that I see a lot of people who haven't really studied their craft a lot, that just kind of spew stuff out when people ask, that is really, it's their truth, right? It's not wrong, but on a higher perspective, it can lead people down the wrong road. So when you see especially like if you see it on a license plate or the clock or something like that, whenever you see that number, you need to tune into yourself. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Was there a memory that just came up? It's really about being present and aware and connecting that this number, when I saw this number, this is what this meant. And noticing that whenever you see that number, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? So 711 is a super powerful number for me. 311 is a super powerful number for me. 321 is a super powerful number for me. 3 sevens are super powerful. 2s and 3s. And then there's other numbers that come in that I know what they mean for me. And then the other side of that is there are days where it's all day long, I'm seeing every synchronicity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. I'll see them all. There will be no one number that I see or two numbers that I see. It'll just be all of them. And that is that's what, when I see that, I know that my soul's driving. My soul's driving my vehicle. And I'm in alignment and I'm present and I'm in flow because I'm seeing the synchronicities. I'm seeing the connection. So in your chart, it is related. It is connected. All, everything is connected. But I think it's going to be particular to you. And I think that those numbers will hold a powerful activation for you in your life. Yeah, I'm a life path 1. And it's good to know your life path, but all of these things, you're never a victim of your design. You're never a victim of your life path number, meaning if something doesn't resonate, it's just not for you yet, or something that you're not choosing to experience. Corey was feeling the purging yesterday. Yeah. Oh, these people are resilient today. I have 22 in my evolution. 22.4. Yeah. When you have 22 in your evolution, that's really, your evolution is what makes you glow, right? Evolution. What am I missing here? Let me look at something. I'm having a brain. Sometimes when I get in channel mode, my logical brain shuts off so much that I have to go and manually turn it back on. So let me look at something here, bring myself into that. For some reason, it's confusing to me at the moment. Where are you? Here we go. Okay, your evolution. I was thinking your radiance. So your evolution's your life's work to your evolution is your greatest challenge. So 22 is going to, basically acceptance is going to be one of your hardest challenges. Yeah, radiance is your glow. That's what I was thinking. My brain was like flipping them backwards. Flipping them backwards. I love gene keys. I started with human design. I love human design because it really shows you it helps you to learn how to read your energy and understand how your physical body is a representation, like how human design is really a map of your physical body and how to read your energy. It's a really good starting point for people who don't know how to read their energy. And when you're first starting to learn, there's some simple practices, and that's what I teach a lot of in my courses and stuff, is how to read your own energy. But human design is a really great science, because human design is advanced astrology, and it really kind of takes the astrology of the stars and creates this blueprint of you. But the gene keys, it really goes in the depths of your soul essence, and that's why I love it. And it's really a map of your journey here and all the things. So I love the combination of the two. And while I'm not out there proclaiming to be a human design or gene keys teacher, because I'm not an expert, I use them in everything I do, not because I want to be that person, but because I have such a deep connection and belief with them. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I feel like there's a place for it. There is a place for it. Rebecca says, definitely feeling the anger rising within started yesterday. That was me, girlfriend. I was with you. I was angry yesterday to the point to where I'm in an apartment. I could scream, but my neighbors would probably call the police on me or think I was dying. So I got in my vehicle and I drove around and I just unleashed. I screamed. I allowed myself to just break that, because anger is grief's bodyguard. Anger is grief's bodyguard. So I knew that I was hurting, but that I didn't want to feel the hurt. And so I was angry. And so I let it stew for a little bit. I let it build up just a little bit. And I could feel it. I was like, okay, now I got it. This is it. I've let it build. I threw on some yoga pants and jumped in my truck and started driving around town, rolled the windows up and just unleashed. And I created that safe space for myself. And then I once I hit that breaking point, I could cry. And I just started to cry and I started to love on myself and nurture myself. Man, anger is such an acidic thing in our bodies. And that acidic wreaks havoc on all of our organs. And it's so detrimental to our physical health. Anger is good. It has a purpose, but it's the expression. It's allowing ourselves to process it instead of shoving it down and becoming that volcano that's going to erupt, or worse, the development of cancer or other total diseases. So Tiffany, just Google free personal or human design chart, free human design chart, and it'll pull up the site and you can put in your information. I have 2 trainings on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, the main page, it'll say trainings somewhere on one of the playlists down below. There's 2 in there on the basics of human design. Start there. If you want a divine design reading, I offer those. When you go to my page for the single sessions, you'll just need to specify a divine design. If you don't, I can't do it for you because it takes about 2 hours of channeling. Mine are different, and I'll refer you to someone who just does this too. But mine are different because I bring in your cosmic lineage. I combined your cosmic lineage with human design and with gene keys. So I kind of bring them all together. If you're just wanting human design, you can check out those free trainings. You can also go to a group on Facebook called Unlock Your Design. My bestie, Ashley Pfeffer, she has created a huge program. It's more designed for gene keys, but she does incorporate human design into it. Everything is a combination of the 2. So she has this year-long free program that takes you into the basics. And then, of course, you can go deeper with paid offerings. But she has an extensive gene keys and human design are her niche right now. And that's her main focus. Everything is about human design gene keys. Where mine, I just incorporate in it. So you have lots of options. I did your alchemizing meditation yesterday. My entire body was vibrating. Yay! That journey, Rebecca, the one she's talking about, the one I did for the portal members. You can buy it separately too, but I took them through because we store childhood programming, past life programming in our physical body. And so sometimes we go through these patterns or loops in our life where we do things over and over and over again. And we're like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? And we sometimes can't get to what the root is or where it lives within us and how it's trying to communicate with us. So I had found one in my shins, and this pattern was tied to my finances. It was tied to my worth, obviously. And I had thought that I had worked through most of that, but I hadn't got to the bottom. I hadn't pulled the root. And I went through this process for myself. I always do everything for me first. And I found it, and it was profound, the clarity. And then I literally went through the purification modality, my modality, the purification process, and alchemized it out of my body. Like I found it in my body. I got the info, I connected to it, I learned the information about it, and then I cleared it. And I have felt a profound shift in that department since. But I really felt guided to take my VIP, my monthly members, my portal potential members through it. So I did it for them. And then I also put the single transmission up for sale. I've had amazing feedback on this transmission. And the purification process is getting into the DNA. It's restructuring it. I have combined in the purification process what I use when I do DNA activation and restructuring. That's permanent restructure work. And it's brought into this. So it is profound energy work, but it is a journey. And, so my modality is a mixture of alchemy, of shamanic journey, of DNA activation and restructuring, so many different interesting things. So some of these journeys that we do and using that modality are insane. It's so good. Since yesterday after the meditation, I've been more called to speak my mind. Yes, I love hearing that. I love it. I love it. Unlock Your Design is amazing. Yeah. You're doing the Business by Design right now. I love Ashley. I love them. Ashley's her and I were in business together for a while. We did, her and I have a course that we did together that's on my site. It was originally $5,500. We walked people through 8 months of going through their entire design. It was part of it was tailored to them, but a lot of it was like anybody could use it. So it's actually, you guys can still access the digital replay. And right now it's only $198. It's on sale. So if anybody's called to walk through the gene keys on their own DIY, you can have access to the replay of that 8-month experience. You don't have to take it. It doesn't have to take you 8 months, but her and I have done lots of things together. We also did a course called Reset and Reclaim, where we used human design to really help people understand their boundaries and how their energy works, because we have so many empaths who are disempowered by their empathic ability. And so Reset and Reclaim allowed you to reset your energy field and to reclaim your sovereignty, right? And start to understand how your energy operates using human design. So her and I did quite a bit of stuff together. You can get all of that on my website too. You believe you found it in my nose, mouth, and throat. Yeah. Wherever you felt it. Salim says it was amazing. The journey was amazing. It really was. But yeah, if you guys are really you just want to focus on human design and gene keys, check out Unlock Your Design. They have a group on Facebook. They have a website. Ashley's amazing. She has a couple of partners that come in and out. They're awesome too. But that's their niche. I utilize it, but it is not I'm a jack of all trades. I use a little bit of everything because I feel like there's a little bit sometimes. It's not a one size fits all. I'm not a one size fits all teacher. I kind of have a little bit of everything that happens for me. So I utilize it when it's needed. When it's not, I don't utilize it. Did I miss anything? As far as books, human design books, what's the one I have? They have some really big, deep ones. This one will give you, this one's a more digestible one. It just says human design, discover the person you are being born. It's Cheaton Parkin. I think that's it. Anyways, it looks like this. You can get it on Amazon. And that will give you some basic information too. I have 3536 channel. The jack of all trades, baby. Yeah, I have that full channel in my chart. And you guys, right now we're in 16. Right now we're transiting Gene Key 16, which is the jack of all trades. It's versatility. I'm guided to the Gene Keys course to dig deeper in. Do you recommend to take one course at a time? For you, Salim, I would, because Salim, you're working with me privately in private mentorship, and you are doing the course to learn how to read your energy. So, and to trust yourself with the support of private mentorship. So, did you screenshot it, Tiffany? Did you get it? I wouldn't start that one yet. Once we get through private mentorship and you've been through the course that you got as a part of that, then you can go on to the next. And you may not even need it after that. But I wouldn't. We can do too much personal development at once, you guys. We really can. You got to give yourself time to digest. So something that I'll be teaching in my book when it publishes, and I talk about this in the course that Salim's taking that you can only get through private mentorship, by the way. That's not available it's not even in my Self-Mastery Academy. Is the emotional digestion cycle. This is something that I've created with the help of my guides, and the emotional digestion cycle helps us understand how we digest emotions the same way we digest food. But it also is showing how we digest information, how we digest energy. So it's really, really important that I can't wait for the book to publish, because it's so much good information in there. But you can overdo just about anything. Nice. 48 is a lot. Is it 48? Is it 48? I think I'm thinking of 44. Let me look at 48 real quick. Oh, yeah. Resourcefulness, wisdom. Yeah, depending on how 48, I can't speak for you because I'm not reading your chart. So I don't know if you have the right parameters. So I'm not going to go into that. 48 usually has a lot to do with being a wisdom keeper, but just depends on how it's laid out. And that might be a primary, or it might be a secondary, or it might be something that's available to you. It's just going to depend on, I would have to read your whole chart. I had an overload a couple months ago. And that's the thing. Like if you overdo it, then it was, what was the point? Like you didn't digest any information, so you have to be mindful of that. The reason why I think a lot of people buy courses and then they get bummed because they didn't have the outcome that they were seeking, or the expectation didn't pan out, is because what we are designed to do is to witness, observe, right? We're sentient beings, we observe. So we're meant to observe and take that information and then practice it. That's embodiment. So you're meant to take that information and utilize it in your everyday life until it becomes a new automatic program before you take on something new. But what I have witnessed, and what I did early on, and what I've witnessed from other people, was people are course junkies, or even book junkies, or video, like YouTube junkies. They'll watch all this content and they don't take the time to embody those new awarenesses, to embody and practice those new ways of being, or those new beliefs. So they're just consuming information, and a lot of them turn around and regurgitate it with their own communities. And we are moving away from that. That is false light, in my opinion, because we are here to be the change. Be the change that you want to see in your own reality and in the world, period. And we learn through observation. So you watched your parents. How did they eat? How did they deal with emotions? How did they work? How did they treat each other? And you watched them and was like, oh, that's how I do it. And you created those neural pathways, and that became a program. So when you're watching a teacher or a another leader or you're taking a course, it's not about just taking that information and turn around and going to use it to make money or to share it. It's about taking that information for you first. You always go first. Take that information, take what resonates with you, take the nuggets that are like, oh, that's for me. Oh, that's for me. I want to be like that. I want to work that way. I want to feel that way. Okay, take that information, practice it in your life, allow it to morph and develop into how it worked for you. And once that you have practiced it enough that this is a part of how you operate now, that is when you're going to be the most magnetic teacher. That's when you're going to magnetize the most people to you. That's when you're going to magnetize the most money, the most love, the most experiences, because it's become you. Everything is but a mirror of you, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So when you understand that, it's very powerful to take the information that you are receiving and put it into a daily practice. Mercury and an open spleen. I have an open spleen. I have a lot of the gates, though, in that open spleen. I have a lot of fears. Ancestrally, collective fears that I'll work through. So even though I have an open spleen and I have the ability to be fearless, I still have those gates. Jen from Canada, I found your meditations a few years back, and what you do is so great with helping people. I do appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I received that. Yeah, I have a lot of good a lot of transmissions and journeys and meditations. I even have a lot of Gene Key meditations. I never finished going through all 64, and maybe one day I will. But I think I made it through. I think I have about 40. Is it 40? 30 or 40 that I've done. Not all of them are publicly released, but there's quite a few that are on YouTube. I usually slowly release those. Sometimes I release it on the transit, but eventually I'll release them all. And maybe one day I'll finish recording them all. But I do have some Gene Key transmissions because they are activating that inside of you. Good questions today. Oh, thank you. Gene Key 24 meditation is amazing. People really love them. I did those pretty early on too. I think it was right before I started working with Ashley. It was right before her and I started teaming up together. What else you guys got for me? Make sure I didn't miss anything. And Rebecca, anytime you have a new block or a new story that you notice is repeating coming up, you can use that alchemizing energy transmission over and over again. Like use it to find. Because that one, I actually recorded that one in the energy of the eclipse. And eclipses are major transformations. So we were harnessing the transformational energy. And because we harness that, remember, outside of this time-space continuum that we are in, on the Earth experience, there is no time. So you're able to access that energy anytime because it's all happening at the same time. I figured you were. Just beat you to the punch. I just beat you to the punch. So does anybody have any other questions about spiritual development, mediumship, your gifts, anything like that? Anybody have any other developmental questions or anything? Sarah says, good morning, just joining. Am I the only one feeling some heavy energy today, like deep soul reflecting energy? No, ma'am. There's a lot of people that are feeling that today. For me, that was 2 days ago. I was feeling heavy energy, and then yesterday was anger, and then today, I have a little bit of an energy hangover, but I feel like I've moved through it. So just know that where you are is perfect, and allow yourself to feel it. Just love yourself through it. See, Rebecca, she's feeling it. Rebecca's feeling it too. Rebecca's feeling it too. We're always right where we're supposed to be. It doesn't feel good. So everyone send Sarah and Rebecca some love today. And anyone else. Have a good day, Jennifer. Shelly says, wondering if you remember when you astral travel while you sleep. You can. It just depends on your level of awareness. And it also has a lot to do with how you're designed. For me, I have an open crown. I have a defined anjas, which is a third eye. So my open crown, your crown is your knowing, right? It's people who have a defined crown tend to be, oh, here comes Ginger. No, ma'am. People with a defined crown tend to be people that remember everything, the most crazy things. People with open tend to not. So it also depends if you need to remember it. So sometimes I know in my experience that I have astral traveled to other people to help them because they've called on me in their sleep state, like their higher self has called me to come in and work. I've gone to astral travel to do work for the planet. I have astral traveled to go to other systems, other planetary systems, and to do work. And I don't really need to remember those things. There's no use for me remembering. It's just my soul going and having that, going to be of service over there. I feel like if you need to remember it, you usually will. You will have bits and pieces. If it's something that's very important for you, it'll be very vivid, and you will remember what you need from it. You'll have this knowing. So I think there's different levels and there's different reasons why we don't remember. And sometimes we don't remember because we're not present enough in the morning we'll have a little bit of recollection, and we don't stop and write some key things down. And when you're in a channeled state, when you're in that higher consciousness, no, ma'am, not right now. When you're in your theta and beyond brainwaves, right? When you're in that other state of being, again, it's not always going to be remembered. When I do DNA activation and restructuring, I am going into a trance state where my soul is stepping out, and other angels, your team, they work as a collective one field, and they step in, and I come in and out. When I'm done with those, I'll have tiny fragments of memories, but most of that information is not important for my journey. So I'm not going to retain it. And so it sucks because a lot of people, and that's why I do my journeys the way that I do. I record them, and I'm the only one that records them. I audio record them because what I'm speaking, they need to hear, but I won't remember it. Now, some people can remember it and they can write reports. I can't do that. It's not how I'm designed. I asked Archangel Gabriel to guide me last night. I feel like I had a lot of conversations, but can't remember any of them. Just keep working with it. Just keep asking Gabriel and keep setting that intention to remember. Remember, the intention is the directions for the GPS system. So call on Archangel Michael or Gabriel, but then say, I set the intention to remember, or please, help me remember this information. Put that part in there and just keep doing it and practicing it. It takes a little bit of, adjusting. There's this our physical bodies are a slow motion replay. So we need a little bit more time. So don't give up yet. Keep doing it. And maybe what's in those conversations aren't important. Maybe you are working something out and You don't actually need to know what you are working out. Tiffany says, I'd like to work more with my spiritual guides. Do you have any suggestion on rituals or ways to call them in daily? So really it's going to depend upon what your primary clair is. If you know, do you know what that happens to be? So for all my clairs are open, but my primary, well, see, now they're all pretty even, but in the beginning, my primary gift was clairsentience. But if you're more clairvoyant or more clairaudient, do you know what you are? And I will be able to help you more if you know. If you don't know, I'll give you the clairsentient version, because that's what most people are. Salim, we'll work on that with you in private mentorship. You don't know. Okay. So let me ask you these questions. Do you happen to when you meditate, do you see? Do you have vivid imagination? Do you tend to have a lot of inner dialogue that you have? Or do you tend to sense energy? Do you tend to sense energy more? Like, how do you notice things first? Do you sense it? Do you feel it? And a lot of times people mix up sensing and feeling. So either one is going to be fine. Or do you hear it? Do you get this, or do you just get a knowing of it? And fun fact, you guys, in the Portal of Potential, there is a course called Awaken the Magic. And that was the first spiritual development course I did. And it will help you identify what clair is your primary. There's a quiz that you can take in it. And it has it's basic information. That's why I always give it in the portal. Any type of membership, I always gift that one. Tiffany says, I feel it first. Okay. So we're just going to go with and say that you're clairsentient. You're primarily probably clairsentient, even though you say you feel it first. We sensing it and feeling it are a little bit different, but they usually go together at some level. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you're an avid meditator, I want you to spend at least 7 days meditating, where each day you set the intention. I want to call in my primary guide or master guide, however you want to say it. I want to call in my primary guide, and my primary guide only. I set the intention to connect and call in my primary guide only, so that I can get familiar with their energy signature and how they feel and communicate with me. See, now, if you are a feeler or a sensor, your first responsibility is to learn to read your own energy. And this is why I teach it. You have to learn to read your own energy, because your body is going to become your library. You're going to feel and sense things and need to translate it. If you don't know what it means in your body, you can't translate it for another person. So this is why I teach this, because the majority of people are clairsentient and they're also empathic. So some of them also have clear feeling. Clear feeling is when you intensely can take on someone else's emotion, but you also, it's both, feel their body. So most people are empathic. It's not as special as we claim it to be. Majority of people are empaths. But when you have clear feeling, you can literally feel with somebody's organ imbalance in their body. And that's where we tap into medical mediumship. So I am equally clairsentient as I am clear feeling. And that is sometimes very rough. I'm not going to lie. So learning to read your own energy, your own body, and your own energy field is what you always want to practice first. But when you're really wanting to tap into communicating with your guides, this is the advice I give in spiritual development is the technique that I'll share today is, again, just set that intention every day for at least 7 days, where you're only asking, I set the intention to connect with my primary guide or my primary guide only, so that I can sense their energy signature. I can discern who they are and how they work with me. And you have to be super present in meditation. So this is why you got to do it for 7 days, because your mind's going to go over here and you're going to have to call yourself back, and you just have to practice it. Practice it. So my example is Kali Ma. Goddess Kali Ma has a very certain floral scent. My grandmother, one of my grandmothers, has a similar scent, but it's just enough that I can discern the two. Master Metatron makes me sweat like a pig. Like my back just sweats like crazy when he comes into channel. When the ninth dimensional Pleiadians step in, my heart like busts wide open, and I get teary-eyed and very emotional. When Goddess Hara comes in, my heart starts to spin and it gets really, really big. When my loved ones come in, I feel them on my left side and I feel a vibrating energy over here. But these are my tells. So when you guys see me doing this or this, when you start seeing me itch, it's new information coming in. When you see me looking over here, I'm clairvoyant. I'm reading. I'm being given images. When I'm doing this, I'm hearing. So it's a matter of, you have to learn your tells and learn how information is coming in and being transmitted. Because when you're clairsentient, you're sensing it through your auric field. Your aura is the potent thing. So keeping your aura, managing your energy is super important. And that's why we did Reset and Reclaim, because most empathic people who are clairsentient don't manage their energy. So they have these energy leaks, or they have energy in their field that isn't theirs, and they're making it about them. They're taking it on, which makes them feel anxious. Anxiety is self-obsession. It's making things about you, or thinking it's your fault, or that it's it's your energy even. So it's about learning how to outside energy interacts with your auric field. And if your heart is open, your heart has to be open. When your heart is open, your heart becomes the translator. It turns the lower energies, the dense energies that are coming through, or even the higher energies that are coming through, and takes the energy and changes it into words, into images, into knowing. So the heart is the translator. That's why it's the bridge from the lower to the upper, because the lower chakras are mirrored in the upper chakras. The chakra system has been taught incorrectly for a very long time. And one of these days I will actually release that chakra course, but I'm not ready to do that yet. So start with that. Start with that. 7 days, pick it. And if you don't want to do your primary guide for 7 days, and you're like, let's call in Archangel Michael, then same thing. I set the intention to connect with Archangel Michael only, as to know his energy signature, so that you can discern. So the power of that is discerning energies. We don't need to protect ourselves from energy. That's resistance. And that's only going to call that bad energy and more. So what we want to do is discern the energy. Is this mine or is this someone else's? So if you're sitting there and if you're sitting on the couch and you're feeling energy around you, you can discern, is this energy of the highest light? I don't believe in dark entities. That's a whole nother subject. But is this energy of the highest light? Is this Archangel Michael? Is this my deceased father? Is this a crossed over being who is connected to this land and is like trying to communicate with me because my mediumship is opening up? So when you learn to read your own energy and to discern energy, you become unstoppable in this industry. And even if you don't step into this industry, you don't have any fear anymore. You're not afraid of communicating with the other realms, because pretty soon the veil, which is actually a belief system, the veil is your belief system. That veil is like non-existent collectively anymore. So over the next year, people are going to be ripped wide open, and they're going to be in intense fear because they don't trust themselves. They've given all their power away to God or to the government or their parents or whoever. They don't trust themselves. So my mission is to teach everybody how to trust themselves, which is the ultimate self-love. And to trust yourself, you have to learn to read your energy. You have to. Otherwise, you will always be in doubt. So try that, Tiffany, and let me know how it works out for you. Sarah says that is very helpful. I've always wondered how to connect and get to know my guides. Yeah. And just know it's going to depend upon your sensory. So you might, if you're not, some people aren't super clairsentient. Some people are very claircognizant and they just know things and they don't know why they know them or how they know them. Some people are very clairvoyant, so they see things. So it's going to be you learning how you interpret energy. You can open up all your clairs. Everybody can open them all up. But we want to start with working with our primary one first, always, because that's always going to be your default. It's going to be your strongest one. So one, when you start trusting one, you begin to open the. This is why people are like, when they start to wake up, they're like, why can't I see and communicate and do all these things? Well, this journey isn't about that. This journey isn't about you connecting to the other realms. It's not about you being of service. That's a bonus. It's about you becoming self-aware. So your clairsentience, your clear feeling, your clairvoyance, your clear audience, your clear alience, all of that is about you becoming more aware of yourself first. Because if you do this for other people or for accessing information or for an agenda, you're going to get a sliver. But when you do this to become aware of yourself and your wisdom and your power, you step into a whole nother level, And this is why I'm always talking about, you got to be the change for you first, for you, for me, for us. But that's not generally what happens, right? 4 stages of awakening. I wrote lots of videos on this, wrote articles on this. The first one is you're shake and awaken, right? Something traumatic happens in yourself, in the world, or you have a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, something cracks you open, and then all of a sudden your beliefs start to change. And sometimes we don't even become aware that we're going through an awakening until years later. So it starts with like what feels like a midlife crisis. You're all of a sudden you're not resonating with beliefs anymore. You're not resonating with people anymore. The things that you used to do, you don't love to do them anymore. You just start to feel very alone and very isolated, like you're going through this midlife crisis. And oftentimes that's the first dark night of the soul. That's stage 1. And a lot of times people get stuck on stage 1 for a very long time. Stage 2 is your emotional awakening. So the first one is your mental awakening. And your mental awakening is truly your solar plexus, right? It's your gut health. It's your gut brain. So it's always a solar plexus. So if something cracks in your root, shoots up energy up to your solar plexus. Because most people, unless you have a full-blown spontaneous Kundalini awakening, don't go fully up the column of light. It usually hits the solar plexus or the heart and it stops. So something traumatic puts you into fear or threatens your safety, which shakes you open, and your belief systems are like they're cracked. They're no longer the beliefs. And it's not that you have new beliefs. I didn't have new beliefs. I just knew that what I'd always known did not resonate with me anymore. So then the second phase is your emotional awakening. And this is, and for those of you that know the 4 frequencies, that know more about my modality, this all goes together. You'll see how it all goes together. The emotional awakening is when your gifts start to come online. So we start to feel energy in a way that we've never. So our anxiety heightens. We can feel even more depressed or angry because we're starting to take on emotions. We're not discerning. We are drained more. We become the wounded healer. We all of a sudden never want anybody to experience pain in the way that we did. So we go and try to rescue everybody. We try to give away our services. We don't know our worth. We don't have any boundaries. We feel like we're getting attacked by negative energy. All of that is your emotional awakening. And it's your auric field. It's you becoming aware of your auric field and starting to sense everything, and all your senses are getting heightened. All your physical senses, your extrasensory abilities are turning on. And oftentimes this is when people start to see a lot of dark things or feel a lot of dark things. It's because they are still in a dark place. Remember, everything is a reflection. And this is why I'm so adamant about teachers not teaching people how to open their gifts if they haven't learned the skills to deal with their darkness, to sit and feel their pain, to sit with themselves, to be present and not try to avoid, escape, deny, reject, repress. If you don't know how to process trauma, if you don't even have the skills to process your trauma, and you're still that person, you have no business opening your gifts, because it's going to scare the shit out of you. You're going to attract your state of being. So if you are still in your trauma, or you're still in a low vibrational place, a low frequency, opening your extrasensory abilities is only going to open you up to see that level of that spectrum, right? Frequency is one. There's only one band. One side's going to be super light and one side's going to be super dense. But they're all one. There's no separation between dark and light. So if you're on the low end of the frequency spectrum, that's what you're going to see. But if you're living in the 0 point, or making your way to the 0 point, or know how to get to that 0 point, that beautiful space in the middle, the heart frequency, then you're going to see all the things that you want to see. So I get super annoyed, and I get annoyed because that's what happened to me. I was taught how to use my gifts and open them before I learned how to process trauma. And I saw some terrible things. It was traumatic, and I felt traumatic things. So it's very, very important that we learn these skills before we just decide that we want to, because it looks fun and exciting. We think that it's going to save us. We think that information is going to tell us how to make all the money, or how to be happy, or how to do those things. And it's not. It's there to help you become more aware of yourself and your wisdom. So that's my disclaimer for you guys. Rebecca says, I can definitely feel others' energy as well. If I see someone get injured, I will get a shocking, painful sensation in my body where they are injured. It's what you do with that when you feel that. And that's actually a call for boundaries, because I used to go into restaurants or stores, and when I was going through my emotional awakening, I was a hermit crab. I didn't want to go out. When if I did, I medicated, because at the time, again, I didn't have that person who was like, hey, you need to learn boundaries. You need to learn how to discern your energy. You haven't learned that yet. So you need to learn that. So I would go out and I would feel that, or I would have you guys, I used to sit at a restaurant table and I would be surrounded by people's loved ones because my light was on. And everyone's loved ones that stays with them and is trying to communicate them would then start to come to me. And I could have my hands on the table and the whole table would vibrate, because there was so much energy coursing around me and through me. I would freaking shake the table. My husband would look at me and go, oh my God, what is going on with you? And I'm just like, I'm surrounded and I didn't know what to do. And so this is why it is so important to learn how to read your energy and to discern your energy, so you can be like, I'm off. I am not working right now. And it's an ability to shut it down. And it doesn't shut it down for you. It shuts down incoming light. It shuts down, it puts up a boundary and says to people's loved ones or to people who are walking by you, I am not going to feel your stuff. I'm not going to be working all the time. But again, it's not that spirit's doing that to be annoying. If you're allowing it, they're going to come in. So you have to learn boundaries. You have to learn discernment. You got to learn these things. So now I can go and do that. And I don't feel people's stuff unless I tune into them, unless I read them. Because I used to do live streams like this, and I would be on for a half an hour, and I would have to be dead for the rest of the day because it just drained me. So unless I'm doing readings or I look at your name and your face and decide to tune into you, I don't read that. I don't. And sometimes I can do it without reading you at all. I can just get it clairaudiently. So it just depends on what I'm setting myself up to do. But now I can come in and out of it very easily. And now I can talk for hours on camera and talk to people and not be drained at all. In fact, I'll have more energy. So again, I can't say it enough. Like, learning to trust yourself, learning to discern energy, learning to read your own energy is so important. So important. And you can do that with me through private mentorship. And you can do that with me in some of my courses. You just have to reach out to me and tell me what you're working through, what you're looking for, and I can point you to the right direction. And if I don't have a resource, I will happily point you to someone that I know that does, because I'm not the end all be all. Corey says, many reasons why I love the course Reclamation. Reclamation helps a lot with discernment of the voices in your head, because we have, the whole devil angel thing. So, but you have an ego, you have an inner child, and you have a soul, or, your higher self. But what people don't realize is those are archetypes. Your ego has multiple personalities. Your inner child is a collective, that who you were 2 days ago was an inner child. So it's learning to discern who's speaking and knowing that what they have to say is valid and important for you, and knowing that that's an aspect of you. So reclamation helps you discern the fragmented pieces of yourself so that you can reclaim them and reconcile them. That's the process of integrating your unity. Unity for me is we're all on the bus. All the parts of me, we may not get along, we may not like each other. And this is what I did in my unity course. It was like, I found these parts of myself and I'm tired of the inner conflict. So I take you to the point to where you can get them all on the bus, go in the same damn direction. You may be arguing with your family, your internal family, but at least you're going in the same direction, right? Step number 1. Step number 2 is, now that you guys are at least going in the same direction, can you start reconciling? Can you start making peace inside of yourself? So the 2 courses go absolutely hand in hand. And you guys, I did all of these for me first. Like, that's why those courses were born, because that's what I did, what my guides guided me through that worked for me. And I took what worked for me and I made it into a course. And of course, channeled information always comes into those, and it takes it to another level depending on who's ever going to watch it. And I put it out into the world. So everything I've put out in the world is because it worked for me. I'm the living embodiment of that. I won't ever put out anything. Like right now, I'm going to be sharing soon about a new product, a new supplement that I've been using. But I'm not someone who's going to use it for 5 days and then turn around and go out and be like, let me sell this product. I need to give myself time to see, how does it work for me? Is it something that I actually need? Do I want to spend this money all the time for this product? Is this something that I think is going to be beneficial for me for the next 3 months, 6 months? Is it something that I even want to share with the world? That's how I decide. I don't just take something for a couple of days and then put it out in the world. That's me. No offense if anyone else does that. But I don't work that way. I share because I have a passion to share. I have a calling to share. That's how I work. And no judgment if anyone does it differently. It's just how I work. It's just how I work. Bye, Salim. Have a great day. Oh, so let's, if you guys have any last minute questions, you can drop them now. I want to say that we are in between eclipses right now. We have a solar eclipse on the 10th, I believe it is. Yeah. So it's a solar eclipse new moon on June 10th. So anytime we are in between eclipses, right, where we just went through the lunar eclipse and then we're going to go through a solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse is really about the deep inner transformation. It's like you hit the bottom of the barrel. This is the table flipping energy. I've had a couple of videos in chats where I've talked about that. So if you want to go back and understand what happened with the lunar eclipse, you can. There's past couple of chats I've talked about it. That's usually about the inner work. It's about the inner transformation. And the solar eclipse, so lunar is feminine, it's inner. Solar is outer. Hi from Washington is masculine. It's the activation. So when we're in these portals, these portals are freaking weird. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. They're just weird. Weird shit happens. Weird shit happens in the world. Weird stuff happens internally. We usually go through these points where we're like, what is happening, right? One day is this, one day is that. It's all over the map. Plus we have Jupiter, who's a big player right now. We got Mercury and Neptune, which are big players right now. We got Saturn in freaking retrograde. So There's so many things, and everybody's going to experience something a little bit different depending upon your design and what your placements and what you chose to experience, right? So I'm just letting you guys know that this 2-week little portal that we're in is going to be weird. Love yourselves, be gentle with yourselves, recognize, remember, if you guys did not watch Wednesday's cosmic chat, a little morning chat, go back and watch it. We had some deep conversation on that one that will help you understand how to not be attached to this experience. So whatever starts happening, if you can just latch on to this one thing, this is what this feels like. This is this current experience that I am in. This is an experience that I am feeling. It is temporary. Remember, we came here to have a physical experience. So register that when you're feeling these crazy emotional swings and be like, this is what this feels like. This is what this feels like. When you're angry, this is what it feels like to be angry. I'm having an angry experience right now. I don't like this experience. Acceptance, not agreement. I can accept that I'm having this experience. I don't like it. This is not an experience that I enjoy, but this is where I am. When we attach to it, when we put a story to it, when we go down the hole, and sometimes we got to go down the hole. Okay, it just happens. Sometimes we got to go in the hole. You go down the hole, let yourself go in the hole. But remember, this is an experience. While everything is not real, it is also everything. Nothing matters and everything matters. It's not real, but it is real. Dualistic universe. It's meant to break us open. So just hold on to that knowing, come back to that knowing, this is just an experience that I'm having right now. I'll tell you, that piece of information saved me yesterday. Saved me. I practice what I preach. I'm still human. I still have bad days. Yesterday was not a good day for me. But it was just an experience. Emotions are visitors. They're just passing through. So when we recognize that, we don't have to be in the dumps of, why am I feeling like this? This sucks. I'm never going to get out of it. I'm tired of feeling like this. And just perpetuating it and digging our hole deeper and deeper and deeper. Just recognize and say, this is what this feels like. I may not like it, but this is where I am right now. And it's temporary. And I'm going to allow myself to have this experience because this is what I came here for. I came here to experience. And remember, there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. So go back and watch that. If you're really new to that type of conversation, it's a little quantum, but you can go check it out. Welcome, Sandra. We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you. And I would love for you guys, social media is a little volatile right now. And I've told you guys many times, I don't think Facebook's going to be around for much longer. It might exist, but I think you can just see people are leaving in droves. And I don't know what's going to happen with YouTube. I love YouTube, so I hope nothing happens. But make sure you're on my email list or following me on Telegram. Email list is going to be the safest space. I don't send out a ton of emails. I will start emailing a little bit more. But that is the safety net. If all the social media was to disappear tomorrow, I will reach out to you on email and everything will be on my site instead. So just know that the people that you love the most, that you follow the most, those are the people you want to be on their email lists. You want to be able to get and stay in contact with them. But like I said, I don't send out a ton of emails. But when I do, they're usually pretty good. So over this next 2 weeks, be gentle on yourselves. Be very present as much as you can be. Eat clean, whole food. Clean, whole food as much as you can. I mean, don't deprive yourself, but what you ingest has a lot to do with your frequency. Ingest food-wise, digitally, emotionally. So be aware of what you're putting into your body. Get out and get some sunshine on your face. Go for a walk in nature. Moon gaze. Listen to music that's high vibe or that brings you into a peaceful state. Allow yourself to be present and be here. And when you find yourself in your mind in the future, worrying, or in the past, reliving, take some deep breaths, bring yourself back to this moment, and just say, I call back all the parts and pieces of me, and just breathe. Your breath is super powerful for grounding as well. So I think that we're going to be complete with that. If you feel drawn to join the Portal of Potential, there's all kinds of goodies in there. You get 2 courses up until I hit a certain number of people, and then one of the courses won't be available anymore for new people. So there's 2 courses you get. There's tons of transmissions, energy healing transmissions that are already in there, including the one that Rebecca and Celine were talking about. And that's super affordable. It's the next level. If you're new to me, it's the next level. So if you feel drawn to that, awesome. We'd love to have you. If not, that's cool too. I'll be doing this on and off more. And for those of you that donate on YouTube, just know that I appreciate you. I work off of a streaming platform, so I can't see, but sometimes I get off of these and I've had donations. And so if you're someone who's donating, I love you. I appreciate you. That helps keep me going. It helps support my platform. So I love you guys. Be easy on yourself. Hydrate. Love yourself. No matter how angry you get, no matter how sad you get, love yourself anyway. I love you, and I'll see you next time.